Good morning, friends. We are back with another how-to tutorial. Today, we'll be learning how to draw Daffy Duck from the Looney Tunes. So as always, I have my pencil, not a pen, because we want to be able to erase, and I have a blank sheet of paper. If you don't have a blank sheet, if you have notebook paper, if you have construction paper, whatever paper you have, that works. So, like usual, I'm going to start in the middle of my paper, and I'm going to start with his eyes. So Daffy, since he is a cartoon character, he has oval shaped eyes. So it's not a perfect circle, it's going to be an oval. So remember, let's take our index finger, put that in the middle of our paper, and put a little dot. A little dot that only I can see. A little dot that only you can see. So on the other side of that little dot, we're going to draw our first eye. So remember, it is going to be an oval. So let's draw an oval shape for his eye. So I drew my oval shape, and then remember, we want to make everything symmetrical. So on the other side of that, you're going to draw the same oval shape on the other side, and we want to try to make it the same size. If they're not the same size, that's okay, but if you can really tell if one's like really big or one's like really small, you can always erase it. Like I'm gonna erase just a little bit and even them out. Alright, so you have two oval shapes. So now we're going to put in his actual pupil. So the pupil is a little black dot in your eye, and we're going to put his in. So his go in at the very bottom. So what we're going to do is just draw two more ovals right at the bottom. And then what we're going to do is we're going to color in those. So when you do that, we're just going to color in those black on both sides. Alright, so once we have both our eyes colored in, we're going to connect them. So since Daffy is a duck, he has a beak. So his beak kind of comes up between his eyes. So we're just going to draw a little bridge between them. So it'll look like this. Just a little bridge between them. You want to give it a little bump right in the middle. So once we have our little bridge, we will move on to his eyebrows. So he has little eyebrows. If you watch the Goku tutorial video, they almost have the same eyebrows. They arch like this. So we will just draw a little arch like that. So that's how both of his eyebrows look, and then we will thicken them up. So we'll do that on both sides. So we have both like that, and then I'm just going to take my pencil and kind of make it thicker. And then we'll color it in black as well. So it should look like that. You want to have, see how that one's a little bit darker than that one? So I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then above his eyebrows, we're going to give him some wrinkles. So like when you lift your eyebrows up, see how my forehead wrinkles? So we're just going to give him some more little lines, just like that. So you'll put them right above his eyebrows. So now, since we have his eyebrows, his eyes, we can move on to his beak. So his beak kind of makes a like stretched out W. It's this kind of motion. So we already have the middle part between his eyes. So all we're going to do is finish up that W. So we'll go off of one of his eyes, just like this. So see how I have one side? It kind of is going to look like a stretched out W. So it'll be like this. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So we have that, and you give it a little hook at the end. So I'm going to do it on the other side. And you kind of want to make them the same length, since it's part of his beak. Alright, so it should look something like this. That's going to be the top of his beak. So then we're going to take the ends and kind of make little half circles out of them on both sides. So it'll look something like this. So see, we have little half circles. In there, those are going to be part of his cheeks. Like when he smiles, see how it comes up? That's how it's going to look. So in the middle there, on both sides, we're going to have his smile lines. So what we'll do is we'll put little lines right on the inside. See? We'll have those right on the inside. And then we're going to draw his beak coming out. So we're going to start on the left side first, and we're going to draw a curve out. So we're just going to curve like this. A curve coming out. And then his beak is kind of square. It's not like a perfectly circle one. So after that curve, it's going to kind of square out. So on the end of that, we will make a little line coming off. Not a perfectly straight one. And then we're just going to bring it all the way across. And that's going to be the very bottom of his beak. So, all the way across. So you kind of see how it's going. So since we have that there, we can start on the other side of the cheek. So this one, we're going to have just a tiny line coming down at a curve. So that tiny line coming down at a curve. And then we're going to draw the top of his beak. So, following along with his beak, we will connect it. Mine accidentally drew a little too big when I was trying to show you guys. Alright, so we drew that line, and then we're going to draw another line coming along the bottom of his beak. So, once we have that, we're going to connect them. So we'll close off his beak. So that, see how I closed off the top? So that's going to be the top of his beak, and then of course we need the bottom of his mouth. So let me erase my line better. There we go. So we still have the openings right here on his cheek, so all we're going to do is bring them in and connect it on the sides, so that way it connects to his face. See how it connects? Alright, so since this is going to be part of his bottom part of his beak, we need to follow that line. And what I mean by that is we're going to you want to follow it, so make a, like where it cuts off right there, we're gonna start, and then that's gonna be the bottom of his mouth. So we'll just make a line just like that to connect it. Alright, so now we have Daffy's beak done, now we have to draw the top of his head. So his head is almost like an egg shape on the top. So we're going to start at pretty much where his little smile lines are on both sides. And it's going to kind of not be a straight line up like that. We're going to kind of curve it a little bit on each side. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So you'll see how it's not a straight line. I kind of curved it because it's going to curve and then come around. But let's make the same exact line on the other side so that way it's symmetrical. So I'll go above that smile line again, curve it. Alright, see? And then we're going to make the top, we're going to connect them. But he does have some hair on the top of his head, so we won't connect it all the way. So we'll come around and we'll stop kind of right above his eyebrows. So right above his eyebrows, we leave an opening. And that's where we're going to put his hair. He kind of has like little tufts of hair. So it's a little spiky. So we'll draw a line like that. And that's going to be the first spike on his head. And that's on the left side of my paper. Alright, so I'm going to make a spike like that. And then it's going to start pointing the other direction. So I drew another spike pointing the other direction. And we're just going to keep doing that 3 times. And then he has a small guy. So you have a bunch of spikes and then it connects. So we have the top of his head done. And now we can move on to his neck, the rest of his body. So his neck is pretty small. He has a small neck. He has a small little cartoon neck. So that comes off of the bottom of his beak. Just like that, like a tiny little neck. And then we'll make his shoulders. And we won't go too far. So it'll be just like that. And then Daffy has, it's like a little white part. So we'll just give him a line there. So usually what I do when I'm done with a drawing is I go back over it and I make like the lines darker and I erase on the parts I messed up. If you guys want to do that, you can do the same. And Daffy is, so his beak is orange and his fur or feathers, whatever you want to call it, is black. So all this, if you want to color it in, this would all be black, and then his beak would be orange. So he looks pretty cool when he is colored in. But there you have it. There is an easy tutorial for how to draw Daffy Duck. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.